Alright, so last time I did in fact get a few things wrong. So, before we jump into it, a few corrections. So, I accidentally transposed the endings of episode 0 and episode 2. So, the way that episode 0 ends is Sonichu goes and they beat the monster, and at the end everyone's chanting, Sonic, 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 you saved the day! So Sonichu's like, okay, so that dude over there that smacked into me and made me into this, his name is Sonic, and I used to be a Pikachu. So, by combining those, and I'm a new creature, I should have a new name, so now my name is Sonichu. Okay, and that's the end of that. And then episode 2 ends with them beating the Zapdos and saving them all, and Chris comes up to them, it comes up to Sonichu, just Sonichu, and is like, hey, thanks for saving them all, as the mayor, good job. And Sonichu says, thanks, father, I really appreciate it. Yep. It's so weird, because it's kind of framed as a first meeting, like, I'm the mayor, you're the hero, we are meeting for the first time, but then Sonic's just like, thanks, Dad. So it's kind of freaky. Also, I don't think it happens in that ending, but over time, Rosechu also calls Chris Dad, and that's freaky also as well. Right, and Chris says thanks. And then Sonichu goes on a speech about, right, so Chris goes off and gets in a car. And the car is some blue sedan, I don't know the model of the car, but it's some blue sedan. And it has this vanity plate that says Sonichu. This was taken from real life. Chris had that car at one point and might still have that car. That is a real car in real life. So, it goes and drives off in the car, and then Sonichu's like, tear run down the cheek, there goes my brave father, going out into the world, and pursuing the love quest, to try to find a true sweetheart from the ground up, even though he's been kicked down, and he'll probably get kicked down again. What a trooper. Truly braver than any U.S. Marine. And that's how that episode ends. So, sorry I got those two transposed, but the endings are both Sonichu looking out into the middle distance and thinking about something, so in the early issues, it's kind of easy to get things mixed up and not remember what happens when. And these are more concrete, and not concrete, but like, you definitely remember everything that happens in those ones. Anyways, also, one more thing. So Natesurk, the guy that had the big Zapdos, I forgot to mention that he is canonically the son of Giovanni. You know, the guy from Team Rocket. We all know Pokemon. The evil guy in Team Rocket. Actually, I don't know that much about Giovanni, because I never got to watch the TV show as a kid, but I know that he's the evil guy, and I know that he's Natesurk's dad. Why on God's green earth some Italian-coded dude named his kid Natesurk, I don't know, but that's canon, so deal with it. And yeah, that was important to know because it will become immediately relevant once we jump into issue number 1 and episode 3, Darkness, Speed, and Lightning. I was dumb. Gosh. So, if you remember the fight with the Zapdos, I said it was pointless when we read it, but now it is immediately not pointless because Chris came up with this idea to make it not pointless afterwards. So, Natesurk gets home to Daddy Dearest, Mr. Team Rocket Man, and is like, hey, I got the stuff. And it turns out that at one point during that fight, Natesurk had managed to snag a little bit of Sonichu's fur, even though I'm pretty sure if you look at the fight, there's no real point in which that could have happened, or they could have snagged any fur, because it was kind of more of a non-contact battle, at least on the part of any of Nate Sturk's Pokemon. But I don't know. That's speculation. I didn't actually check on that. But anyways, so he's got the fur, and he brings it to his dad, Giovanni, who is also working with Dr. Ivo Robotnik of Sonic fame. They're evil and they're teaming up because Giovanni's like this new... he somehow immediately knows about this new Pokemon, even though he's only been alive for like a week. Giovanni's like, alright, clearly we need the big guns for this sentient speaking Pokemon in order to defeat it for some reason. I don't even know why he wants to beat Sonichu. I think that Team Rocket's whole thing is that they want to collect rare Pokemon or whatever, but that doesn't seem to be a factor in the motivate. Giovanni really has no real motivations for beating Sonichu other than he's evil. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he has no reason to do this. I think he has zero reason to do this. I don't really know. But anyways, so he's like, we need the big guns if we're gonna defeat this new superpowered Pokemon. So what we need to do is we need to bring in this Dr. Eggman, this Ivo Robotnik over here, and bring him in and get his expertise. And so Giovanni goes and talks to Robotnik and is like, hey buddy, hey pal, I'm evil, you're evil, let's work together. So, I've got this new thingy, do you think you can do a thing about it? And Robotnik's like, absolutely dude, I've dealt with one of these thingies before in my past, sort of, not exactly the same, but my nemesis, Sonic, I did a thing where I made a clone of him to beat him. And I'm gonna do that with this new Sonichu too, except I'm gonna do it actually correctly this time. I'm going to make a perfect clone of Sonichu to beat Sonichu. It's gonna go flawlessly, without a hitch. Absolutely no problems or hitches or bumps in the road or anything. It's gonna go off perfectly. Spoilers, it doesn't. So they take the fur sample and they put it in a petri dish, which is not how you do that, but it's okay. It's fine. It's a cartoonish way to show off what is happening. If they actually like showed like the whole process of like extracting DNA, that'd be kind of boring. So it's fine. I'll forgive that. But they put the fur in a petri dish and they give it to Giovanni brings in Eggman to do this science, and then he doesn't even personally manually do the science himself. They have another scientist that they hire whose name is Bill. And Bill is a dumb motherfucker. And Bill, he has a petri dish next to him on the desk, and he has a can of cherry Coke, and he knocks the can of cherry Coke. I am so on the edge of stuttering and, like, mixing up my syllables. Whoops. But he knocks the Coke into the petri dish, and it turns the first sample black and red themed instead of yellow and brown themed. This is the canonical reason that the upcoming character is colored black and red. Like, it's obviously a Shadow ripoff, but the canonical reason that the Shadow ripoff is colored like Shadow is because of Cherry Coke. It's because of Cherry Coke. And so he's like, oh crap, I messed up well, screw it. And he pops it in the clone machine anyway. And then there's this embryo growing in a goo tube. And then Nate Cirque, the big boss's little shit of a son, just wandering around the laboratory for some reason, walks into the room with the goo tube and looks in the tube to see how it's going along. He's like, I don't know. know, but that thing looks black to me. There's a lot of, you will notice, a lot of accidental racism and a lot of completely on purpose racism. This is really towing the line. It's kind of accidental, but also, would it have been on different circumstances? Would it have been an accident? But yeah, so, it kind of looks black to me. And then, Giovanni and Eggman come in the room also, and they say some fucking shit, I don't know. There's a couple of pages where all three of them are talking, and, like, the speech bubbles for each of them talking are so muddled and all over the place that you really can't follow it at all. And, so, while, they're calling it, Black Sonichu, which is super original. From here on out, I will be referring to this individual as Blatchu. Not Blake, because I just don't like Blake. It's too much of a, frat boy name. Not gonna call him Blake, I'm gonna call him Blatchu. Because it kind of sounds like a sneeze, and it's funny, and I like it. So, while Blatchu is cooking in the tube, they have this, speaker next to the tube that is feeding subliminal messages like, Giovanni is your master, you will listen to him, you are a tool of Team Rocket. And Blatchu can hear this, but he also has already developed, like, conscious thought before they started doing this, or while they were starting to do this, or something like that. And so he thinks, I can hear that. Giovanni, I guess that's the guy that made me. I'm not gonna listen to what he says, though. Fuck that. Fuck the man. Speak truth to power. And so, yeah, so the brainwashing doesn't really work, but he's still like, I'm gonna go along with what they want, sort of, because I don't have shit else to do. Why not? And then, he gets out of the tube, and then Nate's like, he was black! Oh, it sounds so awful. It is pretty awful. He gets out of the tube, and, Giovanni and Robotnik are like, why is he, whatever, screw it. As long as he still works the same, it's fine. And they do some tests on him, and it turns out he, oh god. There's this stupid stat bar on the side that's like strength, speed, stamina, or whatever. I'm trying to remember. I think he's stronger than Sonichu, but he's super not as fast. Like, he can't run. Which, funnily enough, is exactly how the dynamic of Shadow and Sonic works. But yeah, so, since he can't run super fast like Sonichu can, they give him some rocket boots for his birthday. And then they're like, alright, fly out of the nest, kiddo, it's time to go. Go and steal, Rosechu. What do they tell him to do? I think they just tell him to go. They don't even tell the audience what's happening. They're just like, alright, get out of here. We tested your strength, we gave you super boots, skedaddle. I think that's the entirety of the issue. I feel like there's something else, but I don't really remember. I think that's it. Yeah, it's there's too much info up here. There's too much in the noggin, man. I've been reading more. And, there's a lot that I didn't know about. And that's scary, because I already know a lot. Anyways, so that was episode number 3. Episode number 4 is Informal Meeting. And on the cover page for it, it has this really stupid logo sort of attempt where the two E's in meeting are, like, crashing into each other. So, frickin' Sonichu and Rosechu are in a flower field, and they're in love, and they're staring at the stars, and they're like, my lovely heart sweet, as often as birds tweet, I love you. And they're laying in a field of flowers, and it's so saccharine. And there's eyes in a bush that's watching them, and they're like, I think they say it's dinner time or something, and so they get up and they go and they leave, and they're walking on the path, but in the bush, who could be waiting with those shady eyes but Blatchu? And he snatches Rosechu in a hilariously, she is apparently as strong as Sonichu and has all the same powers, but simply cannot help but get tripped. And wait. No, I think what happens is Blatchu comes out of the bush and he runs a circle around them to make the dust kick up. And then, in the confusion, he steals Rosechu. But anyway, still, Rosechu should have been able to fight this off. She just didn't because she pink. That's the reason. Yeah, I don't really remember how this one starts, but I know how it ends. So Blatchu leaves, and Sonichu is like, what the F just happened? And so he runs off in a random direction, I think, to go try to save her. And on the way there, he runs into Sonic. He runs into Sonic, the blue hedgehog that has a franchise with Sega. He runs into the speedy little devil himself. They smack into each other, which is why it had the logo of the E's smacking into each other. And they smack into each other and they fall and they're like, oh, dizzy. And then they have this awful, horrible, horrible, horrible text wall of a ton of crap. And they're talking back and forth, and it's so bad that Quick literally has to put numbers next to each of the words. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awful, horrible, horrible, horrible page. It's so confusing. Basically, they just, gab at each other and catch up since the last time they spoke. Like, hey, you're that Pikachu I ran into. Yeah, now I have a fully formed conscience. Thanks, God. Fuck you about it. And then they're like, alright, well, we gotta go and save, go save her. And, they find this medallion on the ground, and, I know it's something, but I don't remember what it is. But whatever it is, it, tells them, it's a clue to tell them, well, it's gotta be at the trainer gym that's in town, because this is the symbol of the gym, or no, it's the symbol of Robotnik, so it's gotta be at Robotnik's lab in town. Something like that. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, in the grand scheme of things, who gives a shit? So it's something, and it tells them that it's gotta be at that place. So they go to that place, and then jump cut to the place, the facility in which Rosechu is being kept, and she's being kept in a cage with rubber bars so that she can't shock her way out. Which, even if they were metal bars, that's not how electricity works. So you really don't have to worry about it, man. But anyways, yeah. And if they were I guess they're metal-coated rubber, but if they were just rubber, couldn't you just... Anyways, whatever. So Robotnik rambles his entire plan to Rosechu, and Rosechu's like, you're not gonna get away with this! And Robotnik's like, yeah, I am, and then he does a whole song and dance about Robotnik, Robotnik, I'm a mad guyness, and it's really, the best. So, please look that up, definitely. And so, yeah, so he rambles his whole plan, Shadow's also there, Giovanni is also there. Giovanni continues to be useless until the end of time. Have you noticed that he's completely useless and he hasn't done anything? Like, Robotnik's doing all of it. He made the clone. sort of, and he's rambling the plan or whatever. Giovanni doesn't do crap. Anyways, so I think that's it until Sonic and Sonichu both get there, and they enter, and then Sonic, I think, gets put into a trap. Like, this dome goes on him, or wait, something. Yeah, Sonic doesn't do much in this fight, so I'm assuming he gets trapped. And then Robotnik's like, "Ha! Foiled you again!" Yeah, he drops a dome on Sonichu, definitely. Because Sonichu gets trapped in the dome and is like shocking it. It's like, I can't get out. And Robotnik's like, "You fool! I've lured you here to do fighting." I don't really remember how this goes. But anyways, so the way that Sonic gets out is he goes really fast inside the dome and he breaks out. I think. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, and then he Robotnik unveils this new enemy for Sonichu to fight. And I don't know why he thought this would go good, because it's just Metal Sonichu. It's Metal Sonichu. You know, I don't think that Blatchu does anything in this fight, which doesn't make any sense. I think he does nothing. Why does he do nothing? Why does he do nothing? But yeah, so Metal Sonichu is here. He's ready to rumble. And Rosechu's going like, "Kick his ass, Sweet Bolt!" And Sonichu does indeed kick the robot's ass. And he hits it with such a force that it, goes into that roly-poly Sonic ball that happens, when Sonic goes... So it goes into a ball and then gets hit into the wall, crashes through the wall, and then there's this conveniently placed mountain right next to the facility that they're in. And it rolls up the mountain and launches straight into space and lands on the moon. And Metal Sonichu is still on the moon, as far as anyone knows. I'm pretty sure. Is Metal Sonichu still on the moon? Let me know. But yeah, there is a Metal Sonichu on our Earth's moon right this moment. Look up. You'll see him. And I'm pretty sure I skipped over like half of that fight, but I have no memory for the fight scenes. I don't know what happened. I blank out. I'm just like, and then they punch each other. Okay, good, great, next. So, yes, and, then, oh wait, Sonichu gets Rosechu out of her cage by going really fast, and his razor-sharp quills just cut through the bars, and they just cut her out. Why couldn't she do that on her own? Why could she not do that? She has the same powers as he does. Why couldn't she do that? Anyways, and then, Robotnik shits his pants, and then they all go home and have a happily ever after, and the bad guys go, "Rats! Foiled again!" I think that's it. I think that's the end of the episode. It's really hard to remember that one because it's all garbage except for the part where Metal Sonichu goes to the moon. That's the only part that I remember like most vividly, because the rest of it's just like, just chunk it. And oh wait, nope, I'm sorry, I skipped it over. So I just talked about both episode 4 and episode 5. Episode 5 starts when they get to the facility. I forgot to delineate the separation there, because really, when you're just breezing through these things, there's no delineation in your mind. It's all just one thing. It gets easier once you get past like 2007, because each episode takes longer and longer to come out, so they like have to be separate. Sort of. yeah, anyways, so that's issue 1. Issue 1 is out of here. I've explained all of it. We're at 25 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into issue 2. Also, should I jump into it? Because that one's kind of complicated. Oh boy. Oh boy, 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 boy. Yeah, issue 2 is... So issue 1 was sort of this contained story where all of the episodes were related. Like, they all had to do with this plot about Blatchu being born and then stealing Rosechu and then getting her back and then going home. It's all sort of one thing by itself. Issue 2 is mainly the same thing. All 3 of these are related, and then after that, none of it is ever mentioned again. Ever again. Except for one thing. They usually keep a thing from the stories, but half the characters in issue 2 never seen again. But it is kind of complicated. And I don't know if I've done the research on it yet. So I will end the video here, and I will probably record the next video in like 5 minutes after I do some reading. Alright. Thanks for coming to this lecture, guys. See you in the next one. I don't have an outro for these. I don't even really know